Hello again, everyone. This is Chris Mathieu with Forbidden Knowledge News. Join me at the most extraordinary event of 2020, the Laughlin UFO Mega Conference, February 15th through 22nd in Laughlin, Nevada. There's going to be over 30 amazing speakers there, and 9 of them are coming in international. They're going to be disclosing unprecedented information that you can't find anywhere else. Today, I'm very happy to welcome UFO researcher and lecturer Colin Woolford. Colin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Chris. Thank you. I'm here in London, and yeah, it's been a nice. Well, I say it's raining here, but I'm doing great, and I'm looking forward to this big conference in February next year.
I am too, and I'm looking forward to meeting you, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing your presentation because it deals with one of my most favorite fascinating topics, and it has to do with the alien autopsy from 1995. Tell us a little bit first about yourself, and then tell us about what you'll be presenting.
Well, I'm a researcher. I mean, I'm certainly not new to the subject. I've spent about 30 years of an interest in the subject. I work in the aviation industry here in England, a well-known international airport, but I've always had an interest in the UFO subject, and so I kind of took an interest, pretty much when I started my work, which was back in 1990. Now I was coming into 2020, but at that time, I was following the subject very heavily, as I, still do, but the Ray Santilli famous, this is the video of an alien autopsy, which was made headlines around the world in 1995. It was shown on, you may remember the Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek doing the Fact or Fiction show, a Robert Kiviat production. And, it's been claimed that it's been seen by about 1 billion people, that piece of footage. I think if you talk to most people who were born, obviously, before the 1990s, they'll tell you their own little stories of what they thought of it. And it's always been a very controversial piece of footage, for some quite disturbing, and the controversy hasn't gone away, and that's really why I took an interest in reinvestigating it. I mean, I was following it at the time in 1995. I got the original VHS video at Ray Santilli. He was the businessman who supposedly visited Cleveland, Ohio in 1992, and met a cameraman who he was pursuing some footage or rock and roll footage, Ray Santilli at the time, but allegedly the story goes that he was then offered some footage from a cameraman, a former military cameraman, who claimed to have so many reels, I think 21, 22 reels of this old film, allegedly showing him filming an autopsy at a lab in Dallas, Fort Worth back in 1947. So this was marketed on TV. This was a big deal. It was on this Fact and Fiction show, which I think was so popular at the time on Fox TV that they had 2 follow-up shows, and the records, went through the roof. It was very controversial. I think the big thing that people felt that was suspicious was that the aging of the actual film itself. People wanted they could probably buy that the footage was very intriguing, and it was kind of spooky, and it's kind of disturbing, when you're watching it. It's not the sort of thing you're going to watch. Even a human autopsy can be quite it's not a pleasant experience to watch, and watching what could possibly, and I do go along with this theory that footage is genuine, but obviously it's a huge subject, and it's back in the news again because of Kit Green and these emails that came out this year, which was emails dating back now to 2001. Basically, Kit was saying that he had seen footage that looked remarkably similar to this back at and Kit Green was working for the CIA, just to clarify for people, and he claimed that he saw footage which was remarkably similar to this footage in the Pentagon in 1987 or 1988. So that's why it's back in the news. But prior to that, I'd actually been running my Facebook group for 5 years, going back to 2015, because I felt it's such an important thing that when I looked into the various claims and counterclaims, and goodness me, it's a long old story, and I'm gonna have to try and really shorten it down for the presentation, because there's all sorts of bits that have happened since that showing in '95, including, you know, the claims that it was a restoration in 2006, or a recreation even, and then in 2007 there was even you know, the claim that it was an outright hoax. So it's very controversial. There was even a film made, which we're going to be showing after my lecture, which that's the English version, but is actually starring some famous actors, and I'm not sure how many people in America are actually aware of this. This is the American version, starring Bill Pullman, Harry Dean Stanton, who you may remember from the original Alien film, funny enough, and sadly he's no longer with us, but we're going to be showing that, and I don't think that had a theatrical release, but as I say, there's so much to the subject that I could literally be here all night talking about it, but you know, my bottom line is that there is a conspiracy, there is something more to the story that you've been told, and what I try and do in my talk is, as I've done it in the UK here, but this will be the first time it's ever been seen in America, is to actually drill down on the controversial points of various people and those involved in it, and try to get to the bottom of just why it's still relevant today, and why I think it's so important.
It's very compelling footage, and you know, obviously there's many that believe that it's real, including yourself. But what steps have you taken to verify its authenticity?
Well, this is very hard. This is the hard thing, you know. I mean, I've been in contact with Ray, and actually since the Kit Green story broke, that's Ray Santilli, the original gentleman, who if you see my tour, I go along with the idea that he's actually had a bit of interference himself because of certain things I'll be saying in the lecture, and I don't quite buy his story about the recreation. But as for authenticating the film itself, obviously that's very difficult, because even if you go back to '95, the film didn't seem, there was some footage that was authenticated by someone called Bob Shaw, which was the leader footage going into the room, or the autopsy room. But obviously this was up for debate because it didn't feature the image of the alien on it. So I kind of go along with the idea that it was been a clampdown, that footage was confiscated, and there's a lot more reasons why I think this, and I'll be explaining in the talk. But to try and authenticate it now, all you can go on really is all the images that you see, and not just the autopsy. I should add that there's the debris footage, and there's also this mysterious other autopsy that only a few UFO researchers saw in April of '95, and it just disappeared off the face of the earth. And that sort of ties in with my beliefs about why I think there was some intervention going on there, because there was a whole other 12-minute, this wasn't some sort of thing, people knock out as a fake a couple of minutes long. We're talking the original footage was like 15 minutes or something, and then another 2 minutes of the debris footage, and then like the other alien autopsy was a being with its leg intact, if you've seen that being on the footage. So there's so much to the story that, like I say, it's such a long story, but I'm going to hope to put it across to people who aren't familiar with, there's some finer details that maybe they haven't been made aware of since, the original film was first shown on that August 28th, 1995 around the world.
Very interesting. And you're going to be showing a film there. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, this will be, actually I might be hopefully showing two, and there's actually I'll be showing this film, which is the motion picture film. It's part of the film evenings that they have, and I believe this is the 15th of February, and it will be after my lecture. But this came out in 2006. It was quite a big budget film, and it actually does sort of tie in with my idea that there was a sort of attempt at disinformation with making a comedy type film. That's not to run the film down itself. It's actually quite an entertaining film, and does at least sort of portray the idea that there was some real footage there without spoiling the film. But yeah, I mean, it's got some famous actors you might be aware of, like Bill Pullman, Harry Dean Stanton, he was, you know, the actor, sadly no longer with us in Aliens. We've got the two famous English actors here, where you are, that's Ant McPartlin and Declan Donnelly, and they're playing Ray Santilli and Gary Shoefield, who Ray Santilli is the more well-known gentleman, but Gary Shoefield was his business partner. So we'll be showing that, and I also hope to be showing, I should also say, you know, the superior quality footage of the alien autopsy, because you can, of course, watch this footage on YouTube, and obviously, if you watch the DVD of the Fact or Fiction film, you will see that famous footage. But I'm hoping to show the actual cleaned up footage that is actually mentioned in Kit Green's email, which is the Betacam quality footage, which is far superior, and I think people will be impressed to see that. So that'll be exciting, because I don't think a lot of people have seen that quality images before.
Very good. Colin, thank you so much again for stopping by today, and I look forward to your presentation and meeting you at the conference.
Me too, Chris. I really look forward to it, and I hope everyone can join us for February 15th, Laughlin, Nevada. I look forward to seeing everyone there. Thank you very much for inviting me on.
Not only will there be 30 extraordinary speakers, but you're going to get to enjoy a night sky watch, a film festival, and some amazing social meal events where you get to meet these speakers. But you have to go to Laughlin UFO Mega Conference.com right now to get your discount package prices. I really hope to see you there.